Congratulations, teachers! We finally reached lesson 3, keeping score. In this lesson, we will be using another already created template and then we will add onto it. This helps us save time and focus on exactly what we came here to do. Build quizzes. We will, however, break down what has been done in the template so that we will be able to rebuild everything you see yourself, if you should want to. In this course, we will be removing the multiple choice questions and instead adding a text box for the user to type their answers. We will also add a score counter. Templates in AppShed are pretty cool, like we've already mentioned once or twice. They allow you to import a complete or partially completed app into your own app, helping you save time and learn how other apps are made. Before we can load the template in, we will need to create a new app. So if your previous app is still open, go ahead and close it. Click Close. If your app is still open, click the red plus button. As always, let's give the best app a name so we can keep track of it on our account. Click on Settings. In the text box name, type the best quiz and click Save. Now with everything done, let's go ahead and load the template in. Click on Templates. In the search bar, type Quiz App 3 and hit Enter. Click Use. Click Yes. Now you will notice that your app has 3 new tabs in it. These tabs contain our new quiz. The first thing we need to do is remove our default tab from the app. Click on the tab named Tab Name. Click Delete. Click Yes. The new quiz is extremely similar to lesson 2 in terms of layout. However, the way the quiz works is completely different to both of our quizzes, as this quiz uses text box which allows users to type their answers and keep score of correct and incorrect answers. The first thing we see in the app is another 3 buttons named Test Your General Knowledge, View Answers, and Reset Score. We will program these buttons soon. Let's see what the quiz looks like. Click the tab named Quiz. Click Navigate. Here we can see the new quiz. You will see now that we now have an input box for an answer and an input box to track our score. The inbox boxes are standard AppShed items and can be found under Forms. We will need to program these input boxes too. Finally, the last tab has the correct answers in it, just like the last quiz apps. The home screen. Let's start by programming the buttons on the home screen the same way we did before. First things first, let's make sure we are on the home screen. Click on the tab named Home. Click Navigate. Now let's program these buttons to link to the correct tab. Let's start with the Test Your General Knowledge button. Click on the image named Test Your General Knowledge. Click Edit. Click Action. Click Change Action. Click Jump to Tab. Click Quiz tab. Now let's do the Answer button. Click on the image named View Answers. Click Edit. Click Action. Click Change Action. Click Answers. We will leave the Reset Score button to be done later, as we first need to write the code for the scorekeeping. The quiz. Let's now jump right into programming the quiz aspects of the app. The first thing we need to do is navigate to the quiz page. Click on the tab called Quiz. Click Navigate. Here you will see an input box and a button that takes the user to the next question with the question, what country is Berlin the capital of? The correct answer is Germany, of course. We are going to need to program our button to check and see if the user typed the correct answer into the input box. But first, let's another input box to the page to show the user score. If the user gets the answer correct, a point will be added to their score. Click Input Box under Forms. In the text box named Title, type Current Score. This title will show up above our input box. You will notice the text box name here as well. The text box is extremely important as this gives the input box a variable name that we can reference in our code later on. Let's give it the variable name score. In the text box named name, type score. Click Save when you're done. So we have just added a variable name to our score input box. Let's now give a variable name to our answer input box. Click on the input box named Your Answer. Click Edit. In the text box named Name, type Question 1. Click Save. Our first question is nearly ready. We have added custom variable names to our two different input boxes. All that is left to do is add the code that checks if the answer input box is correct and add or deduct scores appropriately. Finally, adding the Blockly. We will now add the Blockly code to check the answers on the next question button. When the button is clicked, it will check the answer and move to the next question. Click on the button named Next Question. Click Edit. Click Action. Here you will see that there is already some Blockly here. The Blockly here is programmed to take the user to the next question when clicked on. This has been added to help us focus on the code that checks the answer. Do not delete this code. Let's now jump into the code used to check the answer. Click on Logic in the Blockly editor. Click and drag the if block onto the top of the Go to Screen block. Our current if statement is saying if something happens, do this. This means if the answer is correct, do give the user a point. We also want the user to lose a point if they get it wrong. So we will add an else to our if statement. Click the star in the if block. Click and drag the else block onto the if block in the window. Click the star in the if block. Now our if statement says if something happens, do this, else if it doesn't happen, do this. As an example, if you get the answer correct, do give 1 point, else remove 2 points. See? Easy. Checking the answers. At this point, we have our if statement ready, but we don't have any conditions in it. Let's add these. Click Logic. Click Logic in the Blockly editor link and drag the equal block onto the if block. Click App Variable in the Blockly editor. Listen carefully, click and drag the app variable question 1 block into the first part of the equal Blockly text in the Blockly editor. Click and drag the hyphens into the other side of the equal block. In the hyphen block, type Germany. Our current code says, if question 1 is equal to Germany, do something. This means if Germany is typed into the text box, it will perform the do action. If anything other than Germany is typed in, it will perform the else action. Let's add the do action. We want to increase the current score by 1 point. Adding the score. As we just discussed, we will now be adding the code to our Blockly that increases or decreases the score in the score input box depending on the answer. Click App Variable in the Blockly editor. Click and drag the set variable block into the do action of the if block. This block is used to set the variable of the specific input box. We could just add a text box here and have it say 1. This will set the input box to 1. The first time the correct answer is typed, but what would happen the second time? It wouldn't show 2, it would show 1 again. This is because we are just setting the value to 1 instead of adding 1 to the value. We will need to use a math function to add the variable. Click Math in the Blockly editor. Click and drag the plus next to value. Click Convert in the Blockly editor. Click and drag the string to int into the first section of the plus block. Click App Variable in the Blockly editor. Click and drag the variable score block onto the string to int block. Click Math in the Blockly editor. Click and drag the 0 number block into the second section of the plus block. Type 1 into the number text block. Now removing that score, we have now added the code that adds the score when the answer is correct. Let's now add the code that removes points when the answer is incorrect. Click on the set variable block we have already added. Click Duplicate. Click and drag the duplicate block into the else section. Now we need to make slight alterations to this to ensure it does the right thing. We will need to change it from a plus to a negative and change the number to 2. To make the game a little bit harder, click on the plus. Click on minus. Click 1 to 2. We can finally now click the save button to save all of the code onto the button. Well done with your hard work. Click save. Finally, we can test out the scorekeeping system. If you type Germany into the input box and click the button with the Blockly code on it, your score should go up by 1 point. And if you type anything else, your score will go down by 2 points. We can now repeat this for the second question, making sure to connect your blocks the exact same way we did in question 1. And congratulations! The third quiz is done. Of course, like with all AppShed apps, we can publish this and share it with our friends or view it on our mobile devices. Click Publish. Click Start. You'll now get a thumbs up when it's done publishing. We can share it on our mobile devices. Click Share. Click QR code. Scan the QR code with your mobile device and test the app. At this point, you would have created 3 amazing quiz apps with varying difficulty. We hope that the AppShed screens, layout, action systems and Blockly are all starting to make sense. Remember, everything you learned, you can be applied to any app in AppShed, not just quiz apps, so let your imagination go wild and start bringing your creation to life. We thank you for joining us on this lesson, and of course, if you have any questions, feel free to email us at support@appshed.com or find us on Twitter. Hope to hear from you soon.